Hi everybody, welcome to my latest video. This one I think is a really good one because I'm learning a lot of new things. I try to do some wiring for the first time. I've never messed around with anything electric before, so I dive into that. I try to set up some irrigation. I've never tried that before, and I also finally get some tiles from town, lay them out and see if I can figure out how to do these rafters and lay out the roof. I have some successes, I have some failures, but I'm learning a lot along the way and I'm really enjoying myself. So let's just get into the video. I hope you like it, and I'll see you again at the end. Hi everybody from yet another beautiful day. We have another heat wave looming, but I think there's a couple more days before it gets brutally hot, and I'm definitely going to try to take advantage of them. And the work that I'm going to attempt to do in this video has been a long time coming, and it has the potential to either revolutionize how I manage my land or to totally frustrate me. That's just how it goes with plumbing, and today I'm going to get working on irrigation after many years of talking about it and 0 years of doing anything about it. I've got everything I need here, hopefully, and I'm just going to dive in and see how this goes. So as with many things, unfortunately I don't think this is going to be completely straightforward, and that's because the pump that was recommended to me for firing the irrigation, which is going to be this sprinkler head on this tripod, isn't actually wired to be plugged into a wall. It's just got these two loose wires here, and so before I can get to the plumbing work, which I have some experience with and I'm feeling pretty confident about, I have to attempt to do something I've never done in my life, and that's work with electrics. So fortunately the adapter that I bought comes with this little thing, and I think all I have to do is get the wires into the right holes and screw them in with this tiny screwdriver, and then hopefully I'll have a working pump, and then I'll gain a little bit of experience doing electrics. So I'm very hopeful that this all goes to plan, because if it doesn't, I'm gonna be kind of screwed, because I'm leaving to go to Scotland very soon, and I really want to get irrigation set up before I go so that Sinead doesn't hate me. Because if I don't get this set up, she's going to end up spending a lot of time watering, and I feel like that's definitely not something she wants to do. So according to the internet, red wire plus, black wire minus, and it just goes in the hole and gets tightened. I should possibly strip more of the wire, but let me just try this and see what happens. Okay, can it be that easy? My heart says yes, my head says no, but only one way to find out. Let's plug it in, and hopefully this works. So I definitely don't want to be running the pump without water going through it. It's bad for the pump, so I've got this handy dandy switch to allow me to turn it off and on really quickly. So hopefully it'll just be a quick flash to see if it works. And I have done a lot of research. This is an adapter suited for the pump. The pump is 12 volts. And hopefully everything is as it should be. Let's go. Fingers and toes are crossed. All right, that sounds like a working pump to me, and I couldn't be happier. I am curious about the world of electrics. I love plumbing, and electricity has always intimidated me because it can shock you or worse. And I think this could be the first step into possibly doing some more wiring myself, because I do find it interesting, and the more things I can do myself, the better, and I just love learning. And yeah, so sticking a couple wires into holes and plugging a thing in seems like a first easy step, but it's these small things that help you build confidence to continue trying other things and learning and researching. And yeah, so perhaps I do more electrics in the future, but for now it's on to irrigation. And before I start assembling all of the millions of pieces that I have, so many little pieces and adapters, I'm gonna go set up the IBC tank. And the tank hasn't been set up yet because I've been waiting on this piece. With plumbing, there's always one stupid missing piece that you need. And in this case, it goes on here and screws on and allows me to then connect both of these pieces together. I'm gonna move that tap to the other side. But because I've got a lot to do today, let's do this with the beloved snap. Okay, it's on. Without too much hassle. I was worried about getting this middle piece attached, but I was able to bend it into place and fit it in there. My main concern is that this part leaks, because if it does, I'll have to take it off, put more Teflon on, redo everything, but I'm hoping it's screwed on tight enough. And so in theory, when I open this, there's some water in this tank. It should then go over here and fill this up to an equal level. And then when the tanks fill in the future, they should rise and fall at the same time, and this gives me 2,000 liters of water for my garden instead of just 1. So, moment of truth. Let's hope there's no leaks. Or airlocks. Oh wait, do I need to open this one? Yes, I need to open this one. There we go. So, it sounds good. And I'm gonna put the pump on, fill them both up, and check for leaks in a little bit. So that'll fill, and hopefully that'll fill. And so far, things are going really well this morning. Maybe a little bit too well. I'm suspicious. With plumbing, there's always something that crops up that you're not expecting. Some broken piece, some missing adapter, something like that you haven't planned for at all. And so far, things are going well, so I'm dubious. But now is definitely the time where missing pieces will crop up, because I have all kinds of little adapters, and I was in the shop and the guy laid everything out for me and connected everything up. But who knows if I remember what goes where. Hopefully it's all very logical. I just wanted to point out that I am actually going to strip the wires and put them in a little bit more. The internet says it should be about half a centimeter or so. So that'll get done for anyone out there that's concerned about my electrician abilities. And I guess now I've got to connect this to this to this to the tanks. And then basically I've got lots of things happening. So that's going on there. Come on. No, that's not going on there. That's going on there. And that's going on there. Eventually. And then these are going in here, one on either side. That goes on there. And then I have the black pipes running from either side. So I have Teflon to add, I've got tightening to do, but again, let's snap. Okay, job done. That was pretty simple, and as with everything else, things are going to plan so far. The Teflon is on, everything's nice and tight, and I even assembled this guy, got this on tighter, and added the sprinkler thing on the top. And I've never actually used one of these sprinklers before, but it came recommended for water that might possibly have bits in it. I didn't want to mess around with irrigation with tiny little sprinklers all over the garden. Not yet anyway. I just want something that's going to coat the whole place nice and easily without too much faff. And this is the solution I came up with. But before I assemble everything, I just need to think about it a bit more. I'm not sure where to place the pump. I don't exactly know where the sprinkler's going to go. Don't know how long that needs to be. So I've got some thinking to do. So I'm going to have some lunch and come back to this in about a half an hour or so, fresh with some new ideas. And while I have my lunch, I thought I would travel back to last weekend, where I went to this really amazing festival run by some friends of mine. It's the first edition, and they did a really amazing job. It's called Festival Montaña, and it was set up in the castle in Penamacor, right at the top of the town. Unfortunately, I got a little carried away with the festivities and didn't do as much recording as I would have liked, but there was a fabulous band on called GOMOJO, and I captured one of their songs, and I'll just set the experience to some of their music and a few scenes from around the amazing venue. It was wonderful, and I look forward to going to it again next year. Okay, I'm back from lunch. I'm rested and everything's all set up. I did it off camera because I really just want to see if this works. I'm super anxious to get it all fired up. Before I see if it all goes to plan, I just wanted to let you know that if you're interested in the Festa Montagna, check the details below. I imagine they'll do another one next year, and you can also get information on the band below as well. It was a lot of fun, but now it's time to get back to work and see if this irrigation does what it's supposed to do. Okay, the pump is all set up. Everything is plugged in a fairly hazardous way spanning across there. It's all temporary, and this is all going to be redone. I would like to have the pump eventually over on this side of the IBC, possibly building a little lean-to pump house or something. I don't know yet, but right now I'm just pressed for time because I want to set something up for Sinead before I head off to Scotland. And this is a solution so far, and fingers crossed this works. So everything's ready to go. The pump down at the bottom is set to off. And in theory, when I plug this in, nothing should happen until I turn the water on down at the bottom. And when you open the valve, that's when the pump fires, and that's when the sprinkler should also fire. So hopefully right now, nothing happens. Let's see. Okay, something is happening, and I wonder if that's because there's some air in the hose. So let's go open the tap and see how it goes. Okay, I'm nervous but excited. Let's hope this works. Well, that's disappointing, or is it? Okay, something's happening, something's happening. I might get soaked. I don't know which direction this thing's supposed to be firing. Come on, little pump. Come on. Oh, maybe it doesn't have enough pressure. This would be a great disappointment. Oh no. You know what? I actually don't even know how this thing's supposed to work, so I'm gonna read the manual. Actually, before I read the manual, maybe there's an airlock. That happens sometimes. So, let's see. Taking it off the sprinkler. Come on, water. Fire out of there. Maybe the hose is too long. I feel like it really wants to work. So if this doesn't work, my theory is that this yellow hose is a bit too long, and perhaps I need to send more of the water through the black hose, or that possibly the pump's not working. Anyway, I've got some thinking to do. So I don't know, let's try to take it off here and see how much force this thing fires out with. Yeah, that doesn't seem like it's working as planned, so I'm gonna go to the pump and investigate. Okay, I know what the problem is. I'm an idiot. I haven't actually turned the water on. So let's get this off, connect everything back up, and then for the pump to pump water, it actually needs water, and right now this is off. But before I sort everything out, I just wanted to show you the IBCs. They've settled out to be the same level of water, and very fortunately, there's no sign of any leaking. So it's been a success so far, and hopefully when I turn that tap on, we'll have a working sprinkler. Okay, round two. I love a bit of trial and error, especially when I can spot an obvious possible problem. Water is going on. Water's off at the bottom, and so this shouldn't fire until I turn it on down there. But it is for some reason. Anyway, let's go investigate. Okay, moment of truth, number who knows what. Let's go. Woo! There we are. Okay. I think I might get soaked. I'm hoping I'll get soaked, because if I don't get soaked, that means it's not working properly. All right. All right. Okay, which way is this thing going? It's coming this way. Ah! All right, so I need to reposition this. I need to read the manual to see how to change the span of it. I just want it going from this side of the garden all the way over there. And I think I also want to set it to be a bit stronger. It promised me 15 meters. Maybe that's 15 meters. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna reassess, and I'll see you guys soon. Hopefully with some irrigation. Ah! Woo! Woo, right in the face. Ah, but it feels good. It's really, really hot out here. So unfortunately, things aren't going quite to plan. I managed to adjust the sprinkler, and it looks like it's going as it should. However, I only had it on for a couple of minutes before, and it completely drained my 2 water tanks. Surely this thing doesn't use that much water. That's 2,000 liters in 2 IBC tanks, and when I went up to try again, they were empty, and I'm stumped. So basically I filled them up again, marked the water level, and I'm gonna leave this on for a few minutes and see how far it goes down, because it's very strange, and I couldn't find any evidence of leaks either. So I've inspected everything, and yeah, I don't know. It's a mystery. But things have been easy all day. And where's the fun in that? And this sprinkler is pretty amazing, actually. So hopefully it doesn't use so much water that I can't actually use it, because it looks like it's going to do the job. Not really getting the sunflowers. So it might need some refinement. Maybe point down a little bit, I'm not sure. But it's great. And I really love that noise, and hopefully it works for me. So let's go up to the IBCs and see how much water this thing is using. And so it looks like it's not using that much water at all. But I just had a bit of a revelation as I walked up here. I had this tap in the middle, and it's always been quite useless, and I had it open. And so what I think has happened is that when the water's coming down this pipe to here, I don't know, maybe the pump is somehow pumping it back out, but that doesn't make sense because the pump really only goes in one direction. Anyway, I don't know. I really don't. So I'm just gonna keep this thing on for maybe like 10 minutes and come back and see what's up. So this is the water level now, and I hope it doesn't go down loads. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. It's only gone down that much, and it'll also have gone down the equivalent over on this side. So that's not bad. It's definitely not drained the whole thing. So the mystery remains. I'm definitely going to be paying attention to what happens after I turn all of this off. I've made this even more treacherous somehow. I do love problem solving, and I do love a mystery. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens up there once I turn the system off, and I'm going to see how much coverage this sprinkler has had, because it's not doing the full garden like I had hoped. So I might need to get another one. Okay, tap off. The pump should stop. Yep, as planned. I also have this thing. I've had it for a couple years. Obviously I haven't set up irrigation, but if I can get everything hooked up to a timer, then the garden will water itself. But I'm curious to see how much is actually getting watered, because I could see that it definitely wasn't reaching over here. Everything is dry. It wasn't going to the corn, and I don't think it even got over to the blueberries. So that's a little disappointing. I think there is a way to make it go farther, but I thought I put it on its maximum. So I'll have to investigate that, because it promised me 15 meters, and I'd say this is only about, I don't know, 8 to 10 meters away. So it should have covered a lot more, but it did plenty. Did it get over here? A little bit on this edge. Don't think it got to the cucumbers. Nope. And these sunflowers over here are very dry because it's hitting the madroño tree, so it's not making it all the way over. This bed got a nice soaking. The lime tree. Actually, this is interesting because, yeah, it got water. Most of the water stream seems to really far away and lands over in the lilies. So it's not ideal. I'm gonna have to tweak things a little bit. How did it go here? Not amazing. Not amazing. So what about these guys? Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. And then over here just got loads and loads of water into this area where I don't want water going because I don't want these lilies actually growing. This is dry. Well, this side is fine, but this part, the water kind of doesn't get there, but it is getting some water. So I imagine if I leave this thing on for maybe 30 minutes or so, it'll give the places that it can reach a decent soak. This is pretty good. So it seems like it's kind of coming to here. What about this guy? Yeah, it's kind of like skips over top of it. So I don't know. I can't say I'm that impressed, but I do need to investigate a bit more. This bed's pretty good because it's at the end of the stream. And then what about here? Pretty dry there. So obviously when there's plants in the way, the water can't get to it. I was really hoping for more of a sprinkling the whole way along. That's what the internet promised me. And it kind of just fires it, and then on the way back, it does a little bit of closer sprinkling. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. I definitely want to get another one over here. So perhaps if I put a sprinkler kind of over in this area, it might get these parts, it might get in there. It'll probably get blocked by the corn in the front and won't reach the corn in the back. So it needs a lot of work, and I'm gonna be doing some trial and error before I go to Scotland in a couple of weeks. My goal is to lessen the watering load for Sinead while I'm away. Right now the garden takes about half an hour to give it a really good water, and we've got some high 30s temperatures coming up just as I leave. So that's great for me, but not so good for her if she has to come up here and spend 30 minutes a day doing my garden, plus doing her own garden stuff, trees and all that stuff. It's a lot of work. And so I'd really love to have as much sprinkler coverage of the garden before I leave, so she's not up here struggling and trying to survive and trying to keep plants alive. So I definitely have some work still to do, but for the most part, the pump works, the sprinkler works, sort of. Part of the garden's good, and I'm happy and surprised that I've actually managed to accomplish this much in one day without too many hiccups. So now I'm gonna, I think, spend the rest of the day preparing for a big, busy day of work on the tool shed tomorrow. So I'm gonna say goodbye, and I'll see you then for some carpentry work. Good morning. You might be wondering what the heck it is that I'm doing, and if I am perfectly honest with you, so am I. So let me try to explain. This piece of wood is going to be a template to make my rafters. I need to do something called a bird's mouth cut, which is what I was marking up there. Never done it before, and I don't want to make a cut on one of my rafters and screw it up. I'd rather test it all out on this piece, make sure it works, and then I can use this as a template. And this is also going to be a template for the thickness of the wood, because unfortunately under here I have my rafters, and as you can maybe see, they're not all the same height. They're close, but this one's quite a bit thicker than the others. So what I've done is I've taken the measurement for the thinnest piece, and I'm going to use this also as a template to plane off the pieces to be square and to be more or less the same height, because with rafters, if you don't do that, everything's going to look really, really weird. And so this has been a good learning moment, because if I could go back and do it all again, I would choose to have the rafters planed at the woodyard. Make sure they're square, make sure they're all the exact same size, and it would have cut out what is going to be a really annoying step, and it's also going to be quite difficult as well. So, lesson learned, anytime I'm doing rafters in the future, I'm going to make sure I get those pieces planed. The reason I don't plane most things is because not only is it more expensive because you pay for the planing, but you're also paying for more wood because they obviously have to chop it down to size. So you're buying larger and then end up with something smaller, so that's all square and nice. And so for most things that I do, I don't need it, but for rafters, definitely would have been a good idea. But live and learn. And I'm going to make this work somehow. So this piece here is only on to keep everything rigid. While I was measuring, the OSB is quite thin and it would have been flopping all around. So I'm going to take that off and then make the cut. Okay, time to chop, and this is all highly experimental and very strange probably, but I think a template is the way to go. I'll just feel a lot better knowing that I'm not screwing up a very expensive piece of wood, that it's just a piece of OSB, and if I get this wrong, I can see where I've gone wrong and readjust things. Okay, first cut done, and unfortunately I'm already late for a coffee date with some friends, so this is gonna have to wait until I get back. But before I head off for coffee, I had a revelation last night about why the IBC tank's drained, and I feel really dumb that I didn't realize it yesterday. But basically, with this tap open, it means that the water will come out of the taps at the front, run around the corner, and then they'll actually go back through this pipe past that open tap and then down back into the water source through the pipe that the pump uses. So it's kind of silly I didn't realize that, but mystery solved, and I feel a lot happier now that I know that. Another thing I can also try with the irrigation rather than buying another one right now is sticking it in the middle of the garden and putting it on a smaller pressure. And that's another thing that I realized last night. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but sometimes you just need a little bit of time and space for these things to come to you. So my focus now is definitely on the Craic Shack, on the rafters, and when I come back, I'm going to continue working and try to get at least one rafter cut and up at the top. But right now it's time for coffee, so I'll see you guys soon. Okay guys, I'm back. I've had coffee, I've had lunch, I've had a nap, and I've cut the second cut into the template piece, and everything fits basically perfectly. There's not any space on the other side there, and over on the front side it's looking really nice as well. I've also taken this template piece and moved it the entire length of the structure just to make sure the front beam and the back beam are parallel, and that is as it should be, and so I'm slightly surprised but very happy to see that. So everything is working out well template wise. However, unfortunately, I've had some frustrations. So as you can see over here, I've laid out the tiles that I bought the other day at the shop, and I'm not happy with them. They're very long, and that means I don't have quite as much wiggle room for how many tiles I use. I'm sort of stuck to this number of tiles because of the span that I need to have, and the rafters are a little too short for this setup. But if I take a tile out, it's going to mean that the whole thing is too short to actually cover the span of the roof. So I kind of had a feeling this would happen. Tiles, I think, are going to be extremely frustrating. I probably should just use something called chapas, which is just a sort of one-piece thing that fits together really easily. But I don't do easily, I guess, and I really am very eager to learn how to work with tiles. But I'm just not sure that these are the tiles for me, so I'm going to put the rafter work on hold. I really am so happy with how the template turned out. I didn't do it in the right location, so there's probably going to be a bigger overhang on the front and a smaller one on the back. But the most important part is the spacing in between the two cuts. So that's going to make making the rafters a lot easier once I get to it. But I can't make the rafters until I know what the length is going to be. So unfortunately for me, I need to take a trip into Castelo Branco, which I was hoping to avoid, to talk to a shop where they sell lots of different tiles. The place I went to a couple days ago, they only have a small selection. They're not really specialists necessarily, and the lady that I was talking to, she was incredibly helpful, but she was upfront and saying that she doesn't know much about tiles. So I think what I need to do is go into the bigger shop, talk to somebody who has a lot of experience with tiles, and just get a better picture of what I'm up against here. I feel like I want tiles that are shorter than these ones, and then also possibly even shorter than these ones, which are the ones that I have on my roof. At a minimum, I probably will at least match the roof. I don't know exactly what I was thinking when I bought these ones. I think it's because there's certain attachments that will go on the front that will block off the tile for a shed roof. I don't know. It's a lot. There's a lot of stuff to think about, and I just need to go in knowing what I know now. I'm going to be a bit better educated with my questions, and yeah, so I don't want to push on ahead until I have that conversation with the tile people, pick up some more tiles to test everything out, and have a better idea of what I'm doing before I start making the first cut on the rafters. So rafter work is on hold for the moment until I can go into town, but I still have lots to do on the Craic Shack, including putting in some supports, possibly framing up the door, getting some supports in the back, and getting some more of these pieces on across the walls, and just making some decisions about windows and stuff like that. So there's loads I can be working on, and starting tomorrow I'm going to dive right into Craic Shack work. But this is it for today. I'm tired, and it's hot, and yeah, I think I'm just gonna call it quits. But before I say bye from this video, I've got one more thing to share. I've been running an irrigation experiment. I've moved the location of the sprinkler, and I've had it on for about a half an hour. I've marked the IBC to see how far the water's gone down, and I'm basically gonna go to the garden and see if this new location has actually watered the beds, where is dry, where is soaked, and what needs to be added. Do I need more sprinklers, etc., etc. Because when I go into town to talk to the guys about the tiles, I'm also going to go to the irrigation store and get everything I need including fittings for the timer and extra sprinklers. So I'm gonna head to the garden and see what it looks like. So you can go off, and now I guess I'm just gonna roam around and see what got wet and what didn't. Bone dry, it's probably not getting water because of the wall of corn there. This seems like it got a bit of water, not really that much. A lot of the sprinkler in this part was just flying right over top of the sunflowers, which isn't ideal. Let's see if Mr. Grapefruit got anything. Yeah, some water in the grapefruit. The corn got quite a bit in the front part, and I don't know if it really made it into the back. It actually did. Probably went to about halfway. Blueberries are good. Looks like this bed is pretty good as well. Don't know if the cucumbers got anything. This bed's pretty dry. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this sprinkler was the best choice for me, given the shape of the garden. It just seems like it's really not doing much, if I'm honest with you. So it's kind of discouraging, I gotta say. I feel like I put a lot of effort into this. I thought this sprinkler would be the one. Certain things are getting watered. And I'm hoping that it's just as simple as putting a splitter onto this hose and getting another sprinkler up and running in a different location, and just being a bit more conscious about where I place this, running some tests and seeing how it goes. But it's okay there. Lime tree's got nothing really. So I don't know. I think it needs more tinkering and more sprinklers. But this is all an experiment, and it's good to know. So running these tests is going to give me a better idea of what I need from the shop when I go in. And yeah, just educating myself on how all this stuff works is very beneficial. But the pump works, the pipes aren't leaking, and I think I have an idea of the system that I need. So that's a win, and I'm really happy with that. I've been intimidated by irrigation for quite a long time, and even though I haven't quite nailed it just yet, I feel like I'm close, and I'm learning a lot in the process as I experiment. So this has been hopefully an interesting video. For me, it's been a lot of fun trying new things, getting the tiles out and seeing how they go together and measuring those up, even though I don't think they'll work for me. Sorting out the irrigation, wiring a pump. Like, it's been a couple days of, for me, really interesting stuff, and I hope you've enjoyed following along as I puzzle out these new things. So I think it's been a good video. I'm gonna say goodbye. It's hot. I've got some stuff to do online on the computer, and now is a good time because the sun is absolutely blazing, and I think I just need to be in my house in front of a fan. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.